Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome to today's video. So once again, the portal is alight with the lovely blue hue, meaning it is once again time to pull some shards. It is 2x Ancients, but there is a little bit of a twist. The Tea Party Titan event is already live and swinging, and we do have a champion chase going on right now that is featuring some of the Titan event points. So at the very least, we are going to guarantee ourselves these points. But because I am the hoarder that I am, and I do have a ridiculous amount of ancient shards, and we need to deplete it somewhat, we're going to be going out to 5,500 to get some of the relic crafting materials. I was definitely more hesitant to do this when it was 2x sacreds, just because those are a lot more costly or more expensive to use, and it just didn't feel worth it. But with ancients, I think those are the most expendable type of shard because you expect a lot less from them, and you just get whatever you get along the way. So I'm more willing to sacrifice my ancients. So we're going to go all the way out to the 5,500 this go round. Popping over to the portal, let's take a look at the overall shard count on the account at the moment. 792 on the ancients, which of course we'll be diving into today. 241 on the void, 61 on the primals, and 66 on the sacreds. When it comes to the mercy tracker, which will be linked in the description box down below if you'd like a copy of this for yourself, we are still fresh off getting the Valkyrie hitting mercy last go around sometime late last year, and so who knows what's going to happen with this session. It's just 2x Ancients. It's a decent time to pull if you do have shards to spare, which I most certainly do. And so essentially we're just at the mercy of RNGesus to see if we can proc the 1 in 100 chance or the 1% chance to get a legendary with our summons. If we do happen to get lucky and get a legendary, then my top 3 are Poison Exploder, Xavier or Eleanor, Molly Tankard, and then Elva Autumnborn. But let's not forget that 2x also affects the epic rate, so any and all epics will be good for champion chase points, but duplicate epics for empowerment would be the most ideal. So without further ado, let's dive right into the action. We've got a ton of space, we've got a decent amount of cash, and hopefully we can get some pretty, let's say, average luck. I'm not expecting anything crazy from this particular session, especially because we're fresh off of a legendary from the last time we pulled ancients, but you never know what can happen, so let's dive right in. 5,500 is the goal for the points in the champion chase, and we're starting off, I believe, at 350, so we have a decent amount of work to do, and starting it off with a bunch of rares does not help in terms of points. But I did note that we did get a Templar there, which is nice because that means that I have one more Relic Keeper to fuse in the future. And apparently the 2x is not yet on, so double 10 pull of rares. You hate to see it. So I think we're at 50 or 550 in the champion chase. Lots of room to go. We're probably going to hit epic mercy here. Dark Elhain will take it. That is empowerment for her. Grush the Mangler, also empowerment. Both of those are daily login reward champions. Pretty decent. I think Dark Elhain is fun to use against like Torment teams or Gurgo teams, since Gurgo's seen a bit of a resurgence in the meta. And then Grush the Mangler, he's kind of more of like a faction wars type champion, but maybe a little bit of utility in the Cursed City. Soul Drinker is probably one of the weakest bomb champions in the game, but nonetheless, he actually came in fairly clutch in one stage of the Cursed City last rotation. And so I would suggest you at least keep a copy of him in case you happen to need help with that particular stage. I think it might have been stage 3 last rotation, but don't quote me on that. 1,500 points thus far in the champion chase, so we're hitting a very, very bad RNG in terms of the epic rates. Hopefully it kind of turns around fairly soon. Ugo, one of the best epics in the entire game, decrease defense and block buffs. Everyone knows her, everyone loves her. Mine is fully empowered, so this will just be a faction guardian for me. And Masked Fearmonger is absolute dog, so we're not excited to get him at all. 580 on that one, meaning we're somewhere around 2,000-ish points in the champion chase, so still well over 3,000 points to go, and all blues are really not helping us out here. 2150 in the champion chase. Let's keep it going. Please do not give me back-to-back all blues. What happened to the 10 pops with 3 epics in them? Oh, we jinxed it. We jinxed it so hard. Okay, saved right near the end. Aothar, decent poison champion, kind of like old school Demon Lord Clan Boss DPS who can put out a decent amount of poisons. But yeah, I guess for me, that's just going to be a little bit of empowerment to make him a little bit stronger. If I had to guess, I believe it's going to be +2. So still seeing a lot of blues. Okay, epic saved. Triple epic? No, just a double epic. Rockbreaker is pretty good in the Cursed City, but he can also be pretty decent in Faction Wars as an AoE provoke champion to help control CC some of the waves. And then Relic Keeper, everyone's favorite fusion champion that we all feed as a chicken whenever we pull him. 3,000 points so far in the champion chase, so we have successfully secured all of the Titan event points, but like I said, we're trying to go all the way out for the relic materials. And man, this is not looking good. Ideally, we get our luck to turn around here. 2 epics. Can we make it 3? Can we make it 4? Okay, we'll take it. 3 epics. Much better. Another Aothar. We'll bank him for that. Fang Cleric. I don't really like this guy, but he does technically have a revive, so he can be helpful in Faction Wars Dark Elves if you do need him in a pinch. And then Duden the Runic. Pretty cool champion. One of the few ones with taunt in the game. Pretty nice synergy with the counterattacking and his A1 that can be a little bit of a cleansing ability. So he's kind of useful in that regard. And hey, we got another Templar. So that means I have 2 Relic Keepers to fuse in some future Champion Chase event. Probably overlapping with like 2x Sacreds because those are the most costly forms. And Dahlia, that is an epic for the Lady Mikage fusion. Thankfully, I don't need her anymore, but nonetheless, that is her only utility, unfortunately. And then Crimson Helm, I don't really need her, but she was one of the few epics that I didn't have for the longest time, which is just kind of odd. The next 10 pop here, more rares, lots and lots of rares. Do not be all blue, you hate to see it. Well, the good news is we have just about 1,000 points to go, but I'm honestly probably running out of space, but that's fine. I do have spaces in the reserve vault that I can fill up as need be. But yeah, hopefully we don't get a bunch of blues. I think we need around 3 or 4 epics to really get all the way out to the 5,500. Skuramus, pretty decent, or actually really good in the Cursed City AoE provoke with a little bit of counterattack, and so he might have a chance to stun when they actually hit him after their turn, just with synergy with his A1. But he's also pretty useful, or can be useful, in the Hydra Clan boss as your provoker for the Head of Decay. And then also I think he has decreased AoE, decreased attack, which could be useful for just taking less damage. 4,900 points in the Champion Chase according to my math at the moment, so we just need 2 more epics. Is this gonna be the magical 10 pop that gets us 2 epics? That's all we need. There's 1 Ashma, another epic for Lady Mikage, and 2 epics. We'll take it. And wow, just perfectly timed. We took up all the space that I had allotted, which I believe was 130 shards. So not too bad. 130 ancients to get ourselves the 5,500 points. Spider, honorable mention, he can be serviceable in like the Cursed City, stuff like that. Decreased defense in the weak version of weaken, granted on a 5-turn cooldown. So not much to say there. No legendary as expected. And honestly, the epic rates weren't that great, but nonetheless, we got there in the end anyways. And so let's hop over to the Champion Chase, double check my math, and oh, looks like I was slightly overestimating. Oh no, we're short by 10. Never mind, we're good. I can definitely do that with mystery shards, not a problem. So we'll call it there. We call it good. And yeah, so we banked all the Titan event points, all 200 being offered up for grabs. We got the legendary tome on top of that, and then a 110 pop of mystery shards, and then we'll have the relic fragments as well. All right, so there you have it. That's going to do it for this shard pulling session. No legendary, which is not the end of the world, but we did bank a decent amount of epics, most of which will be used either as chickens, 5-star chickens in the future, or will be sacrificed for empowerment of other epics. Although to be fair, one other potentially positive thing to come out of this is that if we pop up the Mercy tracker again, we pulled 130 ancients, so we're at 134 now, and then we're 66 away from entering Mercy, meaning that we're guaranteed to get a legendary within 86 shards. So if there is an ancient shard pogo in the near term, we're in a great state. So within 70 to 80 ancients, we can get double legendary, which could be pretty substantial. And so we'll have to see if that's coming down the pipeline in the near term, but if it is, then we're going to be well set up for that eventuality. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys were also pulling your shards for 2x ancients. Once again, this is the most accessible shard pull event in the game for majority of the players. And so personally, I never think it's a bad time to pull your ancient shards, just because there's not a lot of incentive to pull them outside of these types of events anyways going on in the game. But that is partly just my opinion, so I digress. As always, if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel, and feel free to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.